We're gonna do a guided drawing of the Starry Night. However, when it's time to use the pastels and the paints, you can choose whatever colors you want. You can make it your own. So I'm gonna follow along with basically what Van Gogh does with creating the cypress tree and the village and the hills. But if you wanna change the type of trees or things that you have in your landscape, you can do that. We're gonna start with pencil. I'm only using a Sharpie so you can see what I do. Then we're going to use oil pastels to make our lines, and we'll paint our sky with watercolor paints. Let's get started. Yay! All right, our paper is horizontal, long way side to side because we're making a landscape. And I'm gonna start with the cypress tree. So I'm coming over to the side of my paper and I'm gonna make a wavy line that comes up about halfway. Your pencil might need to be sharpened. Okay. Then I'm going to make another wavy line that comes from that top down to the bottom, and I made it a little bit thicker at the bottom. And next to it, I'm gonna do another wavy line, but it's a little bit shorter than the one we just did. Perfect. And same thing, I'm gonna come from the top and come down to the bottom like that.
It kind of looks like seaweed.
Yeah, it does. It's hard to tell exactly what it is. Now, let's come from the side of the taller cypress tree part. And we're gonna do a curved line to make a hill. And then from there, let's make another curved line for another hill. And then from there, they are big hills, another curved line to make another hill. And we want to imagine that this landscape goes behind the cypress tree. So on the other side, we'll make another curved line for another hill. Excellent. To do our village, I'm gonna start with this kind of, you can see there's like, what do you think that might be?
I think it's like a tower.
A tower, a chapel maybe, something with a tall pointy roof. So over on the side here, I'm gonna do a long line up. There you go. A line down, and then I connect them so I have a triangle. Then I'm gonna make a line that's kind of short on both sides of that triangle and connect those so you have a little rectangle. Now here I'm gonna make, oh, yours are diagonal, and I like that because that's what I was gonna do next. I was gonna make diagonal lines so you can just keep yours and connect those. Let's do straight lines down and connect them there. So we made some kind of building. We can add like a door to it if we want to, or windows. Now next to it, I'm gonna make a upside down letter V, like this.
It also looks like an egg without that line.
Oh, you're right. And then straight lines down. I'm gonna bring it lower than this other building so it looks like it's closer. Connect them at the bottom. And watch, I can make this look 3D. The top of this point, I make a straight line out to the side. A diagonal line down. Mine's gonna touch the building, but it doesn't have to. And then connect that to the side of the building. Same thing, I'm gonna make the bottom kind of go straight out. And you could connect it, there you go. And now you have a 3D building.
Now I know how to make 3D.
I'm gonna make this like a barn. I'm gonna do a real tall line right there. Good.
This is just an opening.
And we can make some other buildings. I'm gonna do like a little small triangle right here. And I'm gonna make a horizontal line that comes straight out, just like we just did. Same thing on the bottom side of the triangle. And I want to connect it with a diagonal line. straight lines on, this is like a parallelogram. Straight lines down there, straight line down there. And look, it's starting to look like a three-dimensional building. And maybe we can add, I don't know, what do you think? One more? I'm gonna do a little door on the side.
I'm gonna write a happy face on the house.
Okay.
It's my own creation.
One more little building over here, maybe. I'm gonna do another small triangle and make like a smaller version with a straight line on the top and the bottom over on the side. Connect with a diagonal line and straight lines down. It's 3 of them. Connect it. Now I have just like a smaller house.
Mine looks like it's far away than this house.
Now, I think that we should be, if we're using pencil lines, we are gonna go in later and create all the lines that show the textures of these like bushes and the mountains. So I'm just gonna do some guiding spots to show me where to put my lines in the sky. So there's like a moon in the corner. I'm gonna make a letter C. Good. And I'm gonna make a smaller C to connect the inside of that C. So now I have a crescent shape. And there's gonna be some dashed lines, these little broken lines that go around it to sort of make it look like it's glowing. And our stars in Van Gogh's Starry Night, awesome. They're not shaped like 5-pointed stars. They're shaped like little circles with dashed lines going around them. And we'll create more of those with pastel later.
It's like a little sun.
Yeah, it is. And then he's got like a big one over here by the hill. You can put yours anywhere you want. And then there's like a little tiny one up here.
Is this tiny?
Yeah, that's really tiny. It looks good.
A bit more to it.
And now he's got a lot of movement and motion going on that kind of reminds us maybe of wind blowing.
There is like this one part of it reminds me of the ocean because it's like a big wave.
Yeah, it is. So I'm just gonna make those lines to guide me when I'm creating my oil pastel. So I'm gonna come above my little star, sort of the top left corner of my paper, and in between these 2 stars, I'm gonna do a curved line that goes down and in like this. And now I'm gonna go from right next to this swirl and create a line that curves down, and it's gonna come up in between the star and the moon right here. So see, it's like a smiley face line. And then over here, we're gonna do a little spiral in like that.
I love it.
Excellent. Now, if you wanna add more lines with your pencil, you can, but I feel ready to do oil pastel.
I do not.
You do what you need to do. You can choose any colors you want. I like Van Gogh's blues and yellows. So I'm gonna do some black and brown for my cypress tree like Van Gogh does. And I'm gonna just do, this isn't black, this is purple. That's okay. Little dashed lines like this. Well, doing little short lines because Van Gogh does post-impressionism, which means you're not fully coloring things in. He does a lot of short lines, and he does almost like pointillism but with dashes. So whenever you color this in, you guys that are watching the video, you're just gonna do little short dashed lines. white, it's gonna show up, even though it doesn't show up on our paper, it will show up under the watercolors. So you can also include a little white. And try putting at least 2 or 3 colors on top of each other when you're mixing. I'm gonna use some black, white, and blue on my hills and maybe a little bit of green. I am imagining a nighttime sky. Your sky could be like an evening sky. What colors might you have in the evening?
Can you make a rainbow sky?
Yeah. So Lucy, what colors would you have if it's an evening sky and the sun is setting?
Like it's orange and then it slowly turns brighter and brighter so it looks yellow.
Yeah, you could do yellows and pinks and purples. You could for sure do a rainbow sky. And if it's like evening time, that also might change the color of your hills because they wouldn't be as dark. But the colors are totally up to you.
In the colors that you have.
And Van Gogh's got a lot of like yellows to show where lights are on. So I might add some yellow in mine as well. If you have pencil lines, I think you should trace your pencil lines. I think it's good to trace them in black like Van Gogh does, but really you can trace them in any color. That way it shows up underneath the watercolor paints when it's time to paint.
Good idea.
So, do you want a black? And even though I used Sharpie, which will also show up underneath watercolor paints, I'm gonna go over mine in black as well. Let's see if that's black. That really reminds me a lot of Van Gogh's art. White in the night sky. I'm gonna mostly paint the night sky. So I'm just adding some lines. I'm gonna use white and yellow and then paint it in with some blues and purples. So you can think ahead about what colors you wanna put in and just add some of your lines. Like you're tracing yours with black, trace those lines with colors that you want to see under your watercolor paints. So I'm gonna do dashes of white and yellow, like I said, and go over it with blue. Your oil pastel will show up, even if it's white, it's gonna show up under the paint.
Interesting.
Our hands are dirty, but it's okay because we're in the middle of working. So get your paintbrush, get your water cup, get your art. And we're gonna wet our brush and wet the paint color we're using first. And you wanna get it good and wet. If you're using liquid watercolors, I did buy some liquid watercolors. You really don't need water, you just dip your brush in it. So look at that. You can see the pastel underneath it. If you can't see your pastel when you paint it, it means that you need more water. Water is the key.
So what if I have red paint and I paint it on red?
You should still be able to see your red oil pastel underneath. Yeah. And let's not just do one color. Here's my lines. Look at that. Yeah, I'm gonna add, you're putting blue in. That'll make a cool purple. I'm gonna put purple in with my blue. Gotta get these wet first.
Ooh, I like the blue.
You can see that I did blue and purple, and I just painted right over and all my oil pastel lines showed up. And you can always just put water on there if it's not showing up and paint right on top of it. I'm gonna do the same thing to my town, but I think instead of doing blue and purple, I'm gonna put some green and browns in there. And I just go right on top of it. And because I have so much oil pastel, you don't really see it. It just kind of adds like a complement. It's just like extra color.
Cool.
Okay, mine is finished. I like that it has color all over. I'm gonna pull Lucy's closer to me, and I'm cleaning my brush with water, and all I'm gonna do is spread her paint color out like this. So you can still see where she put her lines. It's like lighter. So if you're happy with the strokes of paint that you made like Lucy is, just take water and kind of spread it out so that you get color all over. And I really like the way when you do that, your reds and blues kind of blend and create a purple. And you can still see all your lines really well.
And at least we want paint to make me paint.
Yeah.
It's wet.
So just kind of wet it all over. That's gonna help also with your, all those, what do you call it? Lines to show up. Do you want anything like to be yellow, your stars or your moon, or are you sticking with just the reds and the purples?
Just sticking with the reds and the blues.
Oh, sorry, reds, purples. Reds, blues. Looks really good. So what colors are you thinking down on the town and the city?
Like the same colors I used on it.
And I would recommend maybe something a little different like blues and greens in the grass, and then put reds on your building so that things really stand out, so they look a little bit different.
Oh, I'm going to put the purples on the greens and the greens on the purples.
Sounds good. You want me to help you?
Yeah.
Another suggestion I have. I did green on the purple here. I don't want your building to blend in with the background.
Ooh. Oh, I know.
So should we just do all purple? Do you want to put yellow on top of the purple? Those are complementary colors. Or blue, what do you think? Some blues. Finished?
Yep.
Here are our final works of art. Give you some ideas how to make your own Starry Night.